Hi, Cara. Welcome back to
Hi, Dr.
campus. Love the fact that you were here doing soft case interviews
That's
with
right.
our students. You've been an amazing alumnus, really dedicated to coming back and helping your fellow Terps. In the spirit of further helping them, just a couple questions. This week we've been talking about, and last week, the importance of asking great questions in interviews. How important is that? Do you look for that as an interviewer?
It's incredibly important, and good questions differentiate a strong candidate from a relatively strong candidate.
So when students come in, do you see, in terms of percentages, how many come with what percentage come with meaningful questions versus ones that come with kind of questions?
The questions are north of 50%. The somewhat meaningful questions are probably in the range of 25%, and maybe only 5 or 10% really knock my socks off.
Wow. So you're saying that the majority of what you're seeing are kind of questions?
Yeah.
So tell us what knocks your socks off. What kind of questions, or strategic-wise, what are the things that would get you jazzed?
Right. I love to see people who are asking me about how I've seen the company change, what I see growing, what some of our challenges are, how they can differentiate themselves if they were to be a new hire, what would make them be, above and beyond expectations versus the norm.
So I know when we were talking, Bill, you were talking about meaningful questions, and here's what they should do, and here's what they shouldn't do. And any thoughts for our students?
Yeah, so there's no such thing as a bad question, right? And I actually love the Q&A portion of the corporate presentations because it's the most engaging. The kids and the students are very interested in kind of like speaking up, and I love that because then everybody else gets involved from the team. And I think the meaningful questions are the ones that, they're not asking it to sort of try to make a good impression. They actually truly are curious about what the answer is, and it's not about just them, hey, I read something about the company on Google. That's a fine question, but something that you really feel like they're trying to learn, and they really want to know, the answer, versus just sort of make a statement about themselves.
So I heard you say earlier, don't ask me a question that's trying to stump me as the interviewer. That's not what I'm looking for.
Or like, hey, remember me, I was the good guy that asked you a question I couldn't remember, or couldn't answer.
In terms of closing questions, how often have you come across situations where you go to close and students say, I don't have any more questions?
All the time.
Really? And what
Yeah.
does that convey to you as a recruiter?
To me, it indicates that they're either not terribly prepared or that they don't care that much about the job that we have to offer. I'd say if I can give one caveat, scenario is that people will say, oh, you've already answered all of my questions, which I see as being a cop-out. So we've dedicated probably 45 minutes to getting to know you and vice versa, and we want to see top candidates who are ready to make the best use of that time.
So speaking of getting to know you, how many students take the time to ask questions to learn about you? What percentage would you say of the ones you interact with?
It's not very many, maybe 20% at the most.
Wow. So flip side, as a recruiter, are you open to people asking about you? Is that something that you'd like?
I am, so it's a little embarrassing, ego-wise, to say I'd really like to talk about myself, but I am interested in developing a relationship with the people that I interview, and that has to do with them getting to know me and vice versa. And frankly, it's a little bit intimidating for me to try to talk about our whole company and give the whole perspective. I can talk very comfortably about me and how I experience the company, my experience in the roles. It's much more difficult to try to step way back and be the voice of the entire company.
So you would agree with the statement that recruiters like talking about themselves?
Absolutely.
Guys, we've talked about questions you'd love to get from students. What's one of your favorite interview questions? And let's take out like the case kind of question, but what's one of your favorite interview questions and why?
Yeah, I mean, a favorite of mine is I really like to hear how people set a vision and drive people to achieve something. And so, one of my favorites is just tell me about a time where you led a group of people or a team to, you set the vision, you led the team, and you ultimately, what results resulted in what you led.
So not surprised, given your true strong need for achievement and having impact, that's a great question. Bill, what about you?
My go-to question is, tell me something that you're most proud of. And a lot of times people put it in business context, which is great, but sometimes people also talk about a personal accomplishment, which also speaks a lot and brings that quality of what motivates them. Are they achievement-based? Are they a creative thinker type of solution? I think that's a pretty insightful question to kind of get to sort of what's motivating them and then how they, what they're most proud of.
Bill, thank you so much.
you,
Ed,
Jeff.
thank you. Hey guys, how about a Go Terps for our fans
All
out
right.
there? How about a collective Go Terps?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Go Terps!
Go Terps!